Well, it's Saturday morning, the sun is out and it's actually a glorious morning. I've just been out to the polytunnel and Sharon bought some strawberry plants yesterday. So I've planted them up and I'm just sitting out here in the garden enjoying the weather. Sometimes it's nice to take stock and just to reflect when it's nice and serene and calm. And I've taken this opportunity to plant some flower seeds for a change. She got me these little propagator pots yesterday, Sharon, so I did have a few odd flowers, seeds floating about. So, stuff I want to keep in the garden definitely is lavender, so I've planted some lavender seeds at the front there. I've got some sweet Asilium, which I've done in the next 2 rows. I've now planted some, I've never heard of this one, candy tuft, which I've planted in that couple of rows, and I'm just on the verge now of doing some night scented stock. Now again, if you're looking for a hobby, this isn't necessarily for making any money, but if you're sitting indoors watching telly or being bored saying that you've got nothing to do, just take a pop down to your garden centre. And I always find them places very relaxing anyway. I know they're a bit overpriced, but you get the atmosphere and the ambience of tranquility of what gardening brings. I've never experienced this before. I mean, we've been living here in this house for 14 years now, and basically all I've done is cut the grass on a weekly basis, and that to me became a chore, to the extent where the garden just sort of ran wild, all the weeds overtook and stuff like that. But that's because 9 times out of 10 it's interfering with your busy lifestyle, which is basically put upon us. Well, what I've tended to do now is to sort of step back out of the hustle and bustle of what the big box in our living room tells us we ought to be focusing on. Fast cars, fast food, everything's too fast now. And I've digested what's important to me in my life, and that is quality time now, and also spending time with my family. So my pattern of life has totally changed to what it was now, and I'm starting to enjoy what was all around me, but I couldn't see it. As you know, with the polytunnel project, which is now completed and we're now starting to use, and also working from home, as you've seen here. I spent years creating my online businesses, which are basically on autopilot. We've also got little businesses where, again, all working from home, where we produce products, for example. And as I mentioned in my last video, you can see what else we do from home with my UK Internet Marketing School website, where I actually show the sort of products which I create and how I generate my income by working from home. Don't forget, this doesn't just happen. This took me from 2005 to get to where I am now, and over that period of time I was wrapped up in the speed of what life is being force fed to us. But now I see life in a different way. I enjoy everything that I do. Nothing's forced upon me. I don't wake up by the clock. Everything which I do is as I choose to do. Sure, there's things that are out of my control at the moment, things like dealing with large companies like gas, electricity, insurance, phone companies and stuff like that, but as a whole my lifestyle is now as I want it. I'm not money motivated, I'm not motivated by flash cars, because I'm of the opinion that we're brain fed stuff to make you desire it via clever marketing people, things like car adverts. I did mention this, I think, in another video, where they show you a brand new car and it's driving down a country road or a mountain pass, and there's no other cars in the vicinity, and we're conned into believing that that's the idealistic thing which we can picture ourselves doing. But in reality, you're in traffic with parking restrictions, parking permits, speed cameras, all stuff like that, bumper to bumper traffic. So that's an image I don't buy into anymore. And also, when you buy a new car, as soon as you walk out of the showroom, you've lost a couple of £1,000 anyway. So I would prefer to relive things that I've enjoyed in the past as like a nostalgia run, and I enjoy driving about in older vehicles. That's not because I can't have a newer vehicle. I can have whatever car I wanted, but I choose not to be blinkered by the system, which has blinkered me for so many years. And that's the same with food and stuff like that. Food back in the 50s and 40s and 30s, before supermarkets got hold of everybody's attention, food never used to have any preservatives in, colourants. It was cooked fresh. It was done because it was all sold locally by individual specialists in their field, whether it be butchers, bakers, delicatessens, groceries, all stuff like that. They had the food in smaller quantities, and they'd adapt their way of life due to what the supply and demand was of their town, so they knew how much to cook. Well, supermarkets don't operate like that, and we was led to believe that supermarkets means that we can do all our shopping under one roof, and that it can save you time in this busy, hectic life that we lead now. Well, this busy, hectic life that we lead now is basically as a result of greedy people, money-orientated people, wanting to use marketing tips and tricks to basically hypnotise us to buy their products, which is all about earning money at the end of the day. And what's happened since the supermarkets took over, back in the early 60s, sure, it seemed like a good idea at the time, but money people again have exploited the systems where they use marketing techniques like bright coloured packaging, and because the logistics of them delivering their food to their stores, the food has to meet certain criteria. In other words, it has to taste a certain way, it has to taste the same, it has to be consistent, so they have to use colourants and flavour enhancers and stuff like that. And they also have to put in preservatives, chemicals to promote a longer shelf life. And as a result of that, over the years, in my opinion, it is all these added chemicals that have been added to our food, which have not been highlighted, that have caused all these attention deficit disorders, possible cancers and stuff like that. And sugar being one of the biggest problems, and that people have been force-fed. Our bodies are not adapted to dissolve sugar in the massive quantities that we've been force-fed. I mean, it's hidden fats and hidden sugars in most foods that taste good, and especially of the lower end of the price bracket, because those are the foods that people on tight budgets tend to buy a lot of. And that's why I think you see a lot of people of a lower income, for example, which are probably overweight due to the fact that they're eating this food which has got taste enhancers in it and hidden fats and hidden sugars. Couple that up to a lifestyle which is sit in front of the TV, and before you know it, you've got a whole generation of people who don't know any better, because this happened in the 60s. When you see kids now, or youngsters now, growing up now, to have a bar of chocolate, they think, or a packet of crisps, that's just an everyday occurrence, or part of a diet or a snack that they expect to have every day. When I was a child in the 60s and the 70s, that was a treat which you got once a week if you were lucky, because it was classed as a treat. Them sort of things have crept into our normal diet now, and this is what's made our population of young, not saying everybody, because genetics obviously plays a part in that, but that's why I think that the world is in the state it's in now due to all these health problems that people have got. And then there's money involved in that. There's the drug companies who want you to be ill, I think, in my own personal opinion, because what's the point in having drug companies to make you better, and then that's it? They want to keep you poorly for a long period of time so that you're using their drugs all the time, and it's all about money again. Greedy people, investors and stuff like that, tend to invest in things like anything where money is involved that can be earned. That's what's been basically, in my opinion, raped and pillaged, so that the system we've got now is one where quality of life is diminished for those average people. They're taught to have everything now, which means getting debt. But I've moved myself and withdrawn from all that now. As I said to you, I've gone back to the quieter things in life, and you start to see the world for what it really is at the moment. And unless we get rid of all these money orientated people in positions of trust, which we do trust, the world's not going to get any better. So all I can do is show you my journey and what I'm going through at the moment, and what I've withdrawn from. And if you can associate with any of that, then possibly do the simpler things in life, appreciate the simpler things in life. Because I'm sitting here in the garden, which I've had for 13 or 14 years, and I've never ever done what I'm doing now. I've never ever grown vegetables. I've never used my own vegetables. I've never planted flowers like we're doing now. And to be honest with you, I used to sit inside bored and then say, oh, what's life all about? And then go down the pub and have some drinks and then basically talk a lot of rubbish, talk a lot of good stuff at times. But doing what I'm doing now, I'm so happy with. And providing I can show you what I'm doing now and then you enjoy watching my videos, I will continue to do them. In the hope that you possibly, if you're looking for something in your life which you haven't yet found, and don't forget, I've turned 50 now, and it's not about slowing down, it's about having your eyes opened to the way things are. And unless we show young people this sort of stuff, what I'm doing here, they're not going to know about it, because they're going to think that everything comes out of a packet. They won't know about all the fats and sugars that are in processed foods, why processed food is processed, why there's certain chemicals in food to give it longer shelf lives. They won't know about all this. So if I can show people this sort of stuff, and that you can enjoy doing this sort of stuff, this isn't stuff for old people, although I'm on the wrong side of 50 now. This is stuff for informed people, people who want to enjoy their lives, people who want to enjoy the time spent in their lives, people who want to break away from this force-fed system of ours. You've only got to watch mainstream TV at prime time to see what sort of rubbish they're trying to feed us. And every advert, you look at every advert in between prime time TV or even day TV, they're aimed at people to get into debt. They're aimed at people to have what they want instantly by giving you money loans. They're aimed at people eating junk food. They're aimed at you having the best item, whether it be a vehicle, a communication device, and it's all aimed at getting money out of your pocket. Well, I've got a mobile phone. I don't actually carry it around with me anymore. I used to, so because I thought I needed to be in contact. I look at the world on the computer every day. I'm aware of the news or things that happen in the world, but I do realise that the news as we're shown it is just from one perspective. There's normally two sides to a coin, so I don't make judgment on what I see in the news. The more people that start to realise that what we may be force-fed or shown in that box that we've got in our living room called the television could be not telling the full truth or misleading us, then you're starting to have your eyes open. Anyway, that's not so much a rant, that's just me being able to talk on various subjects which I've come to the conclusion of as a result of having time to think, which is something you can't do when you're working for somebody else for 12 hours a day. You've then got to come home and run a house and run children, take them to school, worry about a husband or a wife or a loved one, then pay your bills and all stuff like that. So all I'm saying to you is that you have got a choice to step back, and it is your life, it's your choice of what you want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. Are you? If not, make some changes. There you go, a whole row of new seedlings there, all sown, and I'll water them, and I'll put them in a warm place, in a warm sunny place, and move on to other things. We've got a nice routine now where we just go into the polytunnel. Sharon's been in there 3 times today, watering them and moving out, and then we see near enough daily results. That's the great thing. Barney loves being out in the garden, as you know. Some lovely comments on my last video about Barney as well. Yes, he is a lovely dog. The other two don't seem interested at all. Although Duke, the older Labrador, he's 14 now, and Duchess, the other Labrador, she's about 9, I think. So yeah, it's they're a lot older, I suppose. Although he's about 5 or 6 now, I think. But he's just got that young at heart, and that's what you want to retain, just like me, hopefully. Anyway, might be a bit boring this video, but I hope you've enjoyed it. It's just a few of my ideals and how I look at things now. The problems are out there if you want to surround yourself with them. I don't want to do that anymore. I just want to enjoy my life with my family, and hopefully help people along the way. If they can take anything out of my videos, happy days. See you in the next video. Bye for now.